Hi everybody, I am back to share with you my projects that I've made for Kim's challenge, and Kim's YouTube channel is AngleDreamCrafts. And what Kim is asking for is pockets, and you can make them from fabric or from cardstock paper. So whichever you choose. So I decided to do one of each. I did a fabric one and a paper one. And the size, I believe, is no larger than a 6.5 by 6.5. And I think any colors that you want to use except blue jean. And I think that is about it. But I will leave a link below so you can go over and make sure you've got all the details as they should be. So let me show you here what I have made. And this is my fabric one. And this was such a fun project. So I've never made one of these, and it was very easy to put together. And I can't wait to see the end result, her book, when she's gonna, I don't know if I've mentioned, she's gonna put these in a journal. So they need to be as thin as can be, you know, fairly thin. So, but I can't wait to see her finished project because I know it's gonna be beautiful. But this is what I came up with anyway for the fabric one. And so what I did is I just took a long piece of fabric and I folded the bottom up for the pocket, and then you fold the top down for the flap. So I've just embellished the flap here with a doily that I cut part of it off, and then I've added this really flat cotton flower. I did not make it. It was something I already had in my stash, and I thought it was perfect because it's so thin. And so on the inside of the flap, I've added a really pretty doily there. And then there's your pocket, or my pocket right there. And as I said, I just folded the top up and then I stitched the sides down. But you could glue it. You don't have to sew it at all. And then, you know, you could get lots of stuff in there. And then I've just covered the front of it with that beautiful lace fabric there. And I also stitched across the edge right there just to make sure that the lace stays in place. I also stitched right here, which would be the fold line, so it will naturally fold right there. And the back is just plain. The whole thing is made out of a muslin fabric, and so she can glue this down, and you know, you don't have to put anything on the back because it won't be seen anyway. So so that is it. So that's the fabric pocket. And I also made a paper one, and this one I decided to add a little bit of color to it. So I took some cardstock that had the script writing on it, and then I Mod Podged on top of that this pretty napkin. And you guys have probably seen me use these napkins before, but I just love the colors in it. And so I've used that napkin on top of the paper, and I just love the way it turned out. And I just added a little bit of crochet trim across the bottom. I've added this pretty little butterfly, which I clipped out of some fabric that I had, and I've added some muslin to the back of it. And you can actually see my stitching. It was easier to stitch this together by hand than to try to do it on the machine. And then I've just added some beads down the center, and then I've made a few little rolled roses there out of some cotton fabric that I had. And I hope they aren't too thick because, you know, she's going to put this in a journal, so I hope it will be okay. And then I've added a little bit of tulle and a little bit more tulle here that has some little tiny leaves in it. So that is the front, and I did some stitching down the side, but that was the only place where I did any stitching. The rest of it is glued together. I glued the flap onto the actual pocket by using this lace trim right there. So when you open it up, you see the flip side of the paper, and then you'll see this is where this is the pocket area right here. And so I just attached my two papers here to create the pocket by using this lace trim on the sides. I did glue the bottom of it together, but the sides I used the lace trim to hold it together. So that is my paper pocket. Then I decided to make her a tag, And so this is what I came up with for the tag. And so it's plain on the back. It just has the cream and the pink stripe paper. And then I've added the green paper on the top. And to get the thickness, I've added a layer of heavy cardstock in between. So it's nice and thick and sturdy. And then I punched a hole in the top and added a little bit of seam binding. And you'll see the ends of the seam binding right there. And then I made a few little rolled roses, and the little petals and the little leaves were a part of this beautiful lace trim that's hanging down here at the bottom. And I just clipped a few of the pieces off and tucked them in up there. And then I've made some gathered flowers here out of a crushed velvet. One is made out of a chiffon, and there's a tiny bit of lace in the center of that one. And then all three have a flat back pearl. And I don't know if I mentioned these were also made out of a velvet fabric. And the note is inside. This has a magnet closure, so her note is in there. And it also has a music paper on the flip side there. So I will put something here to let her know that this opens, because, you know, I don't want to do a repeat of what happened with my entry for June, for June Angel Pews. I don't know if you all saw June when she received my snippet roll. She hadn't watched my videos, so she wasn't exactly sure how to open it, and that's totally my fault. Totally my fault. I should have sent along a note to let her know how you open it, and I didn't. So I will make sure I don't repeat that mistake on this card. I'll be sure and leave something here to let her know that it opens. But anyway, that is my entry and my tag for Kim. So please go over and join in. And it is a fun challenge, and I can't wait to see your book when it's finished, Kim. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.